Aloha, beautiful souls, and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Merissa Indigo of Divine DNA Blueprint Mystery School. So excited to share the March Quantum Energies podcast with you today. Well, wow. First of all, welcome to March. Welcome to 2024, starting to ramp up. This is the first year that we haven't done an energy report for January or February because honestly, the energies were still feeling the same. We're having a really interesting observation in a shift of more of the solar calendar year. So the year really feeling like now it's going to start in March, really following that energy of the solar arc and spring equinox. So welcome. It's so great to be here and to be back. It has felt like a very long respite. It has been a very intense time journeying right now. So much coming up, and I'm going to share a lot of what I've been working through myself to assist and support at these times of momentous shift. Before we jump into the energies, I just want to share some of the potentials for gathering this year, which I'm so excited about, and also working together or any other support. This year is the first year that we are so thrilled to announce that we are doing in-person retreats. For about 2 years, we've been just so excited and getting these visions, and the code words we were hearing is the gathering, and starting to welcome the in-person gathering. These beautiful seed codes of all these wonderful souls, soul tribe coming together, and everyone arriving with their own metaphorical basket of their goodies, of who they are and what they're passionate about, and what we're here to share and to illuminate and to cross-pollinate together. So this year is the first year that we're offering sacred retreats with my wonderful sister Merissa Hathor, and these are kind of a combination of not only a cross-pollination of all of our codes and our DNA activating together, also some grid work, some light body activation, connecting and sharing these incredible portals, connecting in with Mother, with Gaia. So it's multiple levels, all right? You know how we do things. And in April, we are going to be in Sedona for our very first retreat. And then in June, we're going to be in the Emerald Ray Temperate Rainforest, a very special place in my home state of Washington State at Lake Quinault. In July, we're going to be in Mount Shasta. And in October, we're going to be in Pagosa in Colorado. And at each of these wonderful sites, we are going to be working with the land directly, the elementals, sacred sites and vortices, and so much more. They're going to be kind of going in a progression of activation of codes and unlocking, expanding different aspects of ourselves, working deeply with different chakras. And really, it's about light body activation on different levels and different frequency rays as well, and connecting with the ancient ones who lived in these different parts throughout the different pockets of space-time, and starting to bring on board those aspects, those memories, those codes, those histories within each of our own individual personal Akash, and coming together and anchoring light pillars in sacred gathering. So there's more information on that in the description box below. Also, as we're coming into solar maximum now, into 2024, going into 2026, we are in solar cycle 25. And for the last few years, we've been trying to do our best to prepare people for these new amounts of solar activity and how they could potentially affect us and the grids and our bodies. There's so much more Kundalini energy coming online right now, and the way that the solar frequencies affect our psychology, our emotions, how they affect us at different levels of our consciousness as well. And so we have been sharing what we're receiving, working with the solar rishi, activating the codex of Solaria within us. It's a specific genetic atomic key code that starts to turn on in our DNA. We were made for all of these shifts. Over the years, we've been sharing information and courses and all kinds of stuff about these mini courses, mastery courses, the whole thing. We've also got blogs on the website, gifted support, and quite a few videos here also in the library on the channel. And so there is going to be a 50% off coupon code SOUL24, and that's SOUL because we are celebrating the soul. SOULR24 is the coupon code. We're offering 50% off all of our programs about the solar consciousness to support everyone getting ready for a continual acceleration point. So we also have the Quantum Playground podcast, which we're going to be featuring monthly. We also have a new moon moon rose circle to support the divine feminine rising. So you're welcome to go to the website for details on when these are going to be calendared. This month of March has been so massive. We weren't expecting to be told, hey, guess what? You're going to be even more internal yet again in March. Totally weren't expecting that, and had to redo our entire scheduling in order to be more present and more internal for the rigorous amount of clearing and the root chakra stuff coming up, what we call the past life or our first life, as we're entering into a second phase now of life, right, on the ascension process. So go to the website for all the details, and we will continue to keep you updated on when those two gatherings, which are supposed to be new moon and full moon, when those are going to be coming back this month. So now let's get into the material. So welcome to March, everybody. Let's take a breath because, wow, it's been very rigorous, very massive, a lot more emotional processing than we have ever done. And just when we think, oh yeah, I'm getting really good at this now, I'm starting to get a little bit more acquainted with this, here comes another level, right? So this is an amazing potential for us. There's just the most incredible rebirth and renewal happening under the surface, right? We think about the seeds in the soil. We can't really see a lot of what's going on, but we sure are feeling a lot, and we may not have words for it. There's this amazing opportunity for a complete life reset right now. There's a lot of the breakdown and breakthrough energies. We talked about the destabilization with Uranus. That was a channeled transmission from earlier last year, which we recommend watching to start to tune in to how Uranus, which is that God force, higher divine mind, the pure photonic light from source that beams down and can be really powerful, showing us a lot, totally amplifying our own frequencies in our body and kicking on the Kundalini energy like we've never experienced. And so that also triggers the emotional processing and the psychological clearing and the ancestral processing and all of these root core issues, root chakra stuff coming up like we've never had. So make sure you're slowing down. Make sure you're really looking at your schedule for the month of like, maybe I need to have more spaciousness in between my commitments. Make sure that you are honoring you and your self-care. And we are a part of a wonderful community on Mighty Networks. Everything is sacred. And it's a wonderful meeting of several way showers that are assisting, bringing the sacred into every element of our process, right? Bringing that consciousness into every aspect of our lives, because that's what's needed now is presence. We can be going through a lot of challenging things and also beautiful and inspiring and dreams coming true all at once, right? So there's a lot going on with this breakdown, breakthrough kind of cycle. We've also had almost a few months now of Pluto being in Aquarius. So it started at 0 degrees, which was a huge portal, and now it's at 1 degree. And again, it's all about the internal. So be sure that you're listening to what's coming up and honoring what's coming up. With Uranus, we have this new higher divine consciousness coming through. And you could feel like there's a lot of heavy lifting right now. There's a lot of emotional clearing. It can be daunting. And so you want to see, where do I have resistance, right? Where is this uncomfortable? How can I get comfortable with being uncomfortable? That's something we started introducing last year to try to prime everybody like, hey, we're going to start to get really uncomfortable because we're getting pushed into new directions in order to expand into our new era, into new earth, into our highest timelines. And birth is messy and uncomfortable and at times can be painful, and yet also the most divine experience of our lives, right? A huge piece that I've been working through and assisting others is the divine inner child, and that perhaps we were holding this inner child aspect as separate, maybe the aspects of ourselves that are the problem child, right, so to speak. And so in our embodiment of our divinity and really stepping up and into a soul level, a heart-centered experience here, the question is, are we holding pieces of ourselves as separate from that divinity, from that divine perfection? And so an example of that, let's say you had some dysfunction in the family and maybe emotional shutdown, right? Not a lot of communication, perhaps not a lot of feeling. Most of us existed with our hearts closed in order to survive, right? The first phase to get to this one. So as we're doing our ancestral clearing, as we're looking back at our childhood and we're working through our karma and any past life stuff that, in all honesty, is all here right now in our face. It's all here in this life to be completed, to be loved and integrated. So are we holding any aspects of ourselves separate or looking at them through judgment, like you were misbehaving, so you're not worthy? We really want to make sure we're welcoming all of these pieces of ourselves into the mix. And for me, a huge one has been the opening up to receive the troubled child aspects, right? That didn't have good coping mechanisms simply because she didn't know, she didn't learn them. And so this is a huge level of compassion for self and others, that we start to see, wow, people are acting out. Why do they do that? They do that because they have pain and they don't know how to communicate that they have pain. So we really want to extend this deep level of compassion and love to ourselves and others at this time, because it's getting deep. It's getting deeper than we've ever had, right? Don't hold any woundedness as separate or less than. We have to see that the subconscious speaks through the emotions, which we may not even be able to define. You may see cravings and addictions all of a sudden coming up. And you're like, what is this? Where is this coming from? And so I invite you to come back and see, oh, what aspect of myself could use some love right now, some tenderness right now. So some of these could be the aspects including the inner child acting out for attention. You're going to notice more than ever the subconscious is doing its best to communicate with us. This is part of this divine reveal. And the subconscious now, when those of us are so used to the linear processing, right? Having words for things and being able to define things and having concepts, well, that's shifting. We're quantum, we're multidimensional, we've been there, but our beingness is catching up to that. And so our subconscious can speak to us through emotions, craving and addiction behaviors, also images, symbols, music, colors, dreams. These are all ways that the subconscious mind communicates to us. And so you want to be sure that you are paying attention. Journal, write things down. What are you getting? Maybe you're having some amazing dreams right now. The key here is do not reject. Shower with love and comfort and TLC. And if you're like myself and emotions are still newer and maybe you're getting better, but you're still like, I don't know what I'm feeling, or I'm feeling nothing, or I'm feeling disassociated, or I'm having a hard time getting into what this is. Music, singing can really assist us. Go through all of your favorite music, go through all of your different emotional spectrums of music, whether it's rock or more of emo or punk or lyrical or classical music, no lyrics at all. You can just feeling how the music moves through you and helps you to identify, what am I feeling, or where is that in the body, and let it come up and out. So there are a lot of tools, and we want to go with music is so pure because it goes straight in. And maybe there's some wonderful lyrics from some songs growing up. You're like, oh yeah, this is the one, or this is my good sad song. It helps me tap into my grief and release. There's also an element of a brand new divine, sacred masculine coming through. We're healing so many of the rifts, as we classified all of these different aspects of our being. And so there's this new balance coming through. We've got the new moon coming up in a few days, which is extremely potent. We have the spring equinox, all about that balancing. So a lot's going to be coming up. And then we have the eclipse energies coming in at the end of the month. So intense is an understatement for this month and how powerful it is. And so you want to make sure that you're balancing your inner masculine and your inner feminine. Do they get along? Are they fighting? Do they not trust one another? Where is there separation or discord or distrust within? So a great example of that, I've got a mile-long to-do list of things I'm really passionate about, right? And I want to do them and I'm so excited, like get it done, right? And then there's these emotions bubbling up and I'm like, oh man, I got to deal. And I don't want to feel, I want to create, I want to accomplish. Those things make me feel good. I like creating. I'm a creator. But I have to tend to those emotions. So that's a good example of kind of this battle inside of the feminine and the masculine aspects, right? The feminine wants to feel and to perceive and to move, and there's kind of a spiraling or curvaceous or wave form flow energy with this, right? And the masculine is excited to just, barrel through and accomplish and do all the things and build and put that energy into use because we're feeling so much energy. So you may feel just an influx of this divine masculine energy that is just so excited to start doing things and create with this. So you want to see, where is that happening within you? You want to balance that, go with the flow, do and be, right? Have stillness and quiet in the mix with all of this movement and excitement. You could be seeing the invitation for a whole new ways of functioning. And the Phoenix codes have come up more than ever before. The Phoenix used to just fly in maybe once a year, a couple times a year. And now I feel like it's here every freaking month. Every lunar cycle, we're going through so much death and rebirth process to clarify and to come into more of our fullness and our authenticity. And it's all through self-love and trust. So surrendering all to the Phoenix. You may notice a lot of fatigue this month that you need more rest to integrate and recuperate. And like we said, that Uranian energy and the solar energy is really tapping our nervous system. We're getting higher voltages of Kundalini that we've ever had, right? So then you add the emotional clearing on top of that and the psychological clearing and how much effort it takes, energy it takes to come into your peace and into your harmony and to feel heaven on earth and bliss again, which is your divine birthright, which is your natural home frequency. You may need more rest, so please give it to yourself and encourage others, right? This emotional work is a lot of work. And one of the biggest pieces, if I could share, is see where you resist. Where is this feeling too much? Too much to deal. Oh my God, it's like an avalanche. I'm going to just drown in this, right? That's all perception. And so you want to just go deep into it, just dive into the wave, let it overtake you, going in there with your love and with your I got this attitude. Yes, I can attitude. At the time of this recording, we are in the balsamic moon phase, which is a really important phase to start to become more acquainted with. And this is the darkest of the dark of the subconscious before that glimmer, that crack of that sacred crescent comes into the sky with the new moon. So before every new moon, we have some of the deepest review of our whole life, different experiences that we've had, right? Different programming coming up, all in this organic way of kind of weeding the soul garden. And so you could be noticing, wow, there's a lot of grief happening here. I'm actually having some grief. It's almost like I'm mourning the different lives that I've had or the different experiences. And you want to be tender with that. I know for me personally, I was laughing hysterically at myself and the whole process because a week into the Pisces energy, a few days ago, I was like, okay, I'm a week in and I'm done. Like, oh my God, I've never felt so much in my life. I've never cried so much in my life. In 1 week, I've never cried so much, and all I want to do is work on my book and record podcasts for you guys and write articles and be there and show up, but I have to show up for myself. And until I do that, I can't do anything. So a huge time of surrender and humbling, right? And just allowing yourself to witness past life experiences, current experiences, karmas, all that is here to integrate now. And all of that with love. There's also the invitation to strengthen our intuition and really connecting into that trust, those aspects of ourselves, your divine intelligence. It's a natural part of you. We have a lot of resources on this channel that are gifted to assist you in coming into peace. So the emotional clearing to enter new earth. That's a whole course we've gifted here for free on the channel. There's activating the pineal gland. There's divine neutrality, right? So we're working through the emotional layers to come into the deep peace and stillness again, to then be able to listen. And we have to have an open heart to listen. So it's a process, right? To be able to hear those subtle frequencies. But the more we hone that muscle, the easier it gets. And you really want to be sure that you are coming into that divine intelligence now as your actual mind, the perceiving mind, right? Versus the thinking mind, because the linear mind is just not working. And we've said this for a couple years to also try to prime people for this, because these are weird things to talk about, but the linear mind is like a calculator, right? And there has to be an overarching intelligence to program the calculator. So the calculator doesn't just work by itself. And it's funny because that's how we used to function. We would program things in and they were coming from the outside, and then we would repeat those things. So it's a completely different process, right? Than receiving the divine intelligence. And Uranus is here to assist us with that. And that's part of the Kundalini awakening that's happening for so many right now. It's really strong. And so you want to use your tools. There are many provided here, gifted, because the whole YouTube channel is like a living library. And then we also have a lot of resources on the website and also in the mystery school. So the details for that are all in the description box as well. But it's really important to start to realize that, wow, the logical or linear mind is a fraction of how we navigate our experience, right? So it's really coming into the subtleties, the subtle realms. And it's interesting because the more we divert our focus there with our own antennas and strengthening these intuitive muscles, the louder those subtle frequencies become. So lastly, solar weather is continuing to contribute to immense shifts. You could be experiencing or witnessing emotional and psychotic breaks or psychological breaks. And we're in solar cycle 25, right? And it is going to continue to amplify now. So we've got the equinox, then we've got the first eclipse coming on March 25th. And this is the one that's crisscrossing now from east to west, crisscrossing over the United States. X marks the spot, X the 10, the completion, buried treasure, a lot of codes with this. And this eclipse cycle is going to be very powerful for the new era. And so you want to really get in deep with yourself right now and allow and welcome in and give thanks for all of this intense clearing. Just surrender and trust and ask for support. Make sure you reach out if you need support to professionals, to friends and family. Communicate what's going on. Myself and many way showers are here to assist you with navigating this through a quantum level, coming into the heart space, right? So these are very powerful times. And the more we can go with the flow and trust the process and trust ourselves and our hearts and our feelings and all of our intuitive guidance, coming into nature more, slowing down, the breath work, the Tai Chi Gong, all of these different practices assist us to navigate this experience, because come April and May, we're going to be launching into the new era. So there's going to be a lot more activity, a lot more of what we've been excited about, using that masculine energy to do and create and put it out there and go for it. All these things that we're really excited about, right? But we have to do the blueprinting first, the internal process, right? That emotional processing, so that foundation is there, so that we are sure-footed, as there are going to be many, many shifts. And when we talk about the solar activity, it's really important to share as well that you take into consideration the effects of the solar radiation upon our grids. All over the world, our grid systems that are our power sources for electricity and things like the internet, they're pretty old systems. Then they're quite vulnerable. And so you want to make sure you're prepared. If we have a power outage, okay, yeah, I've got water, I've got some food. Depending on if you live in a house, you got a generator. You want to think about these things. So you want to bring in your prepper, right? And we don't want to go off the deep end, but you want to be prepared too. It's smart and it's important. And it also adds a certain level of psychological and emotional security to know that if you have a power outage for a couple of days to perhaps an extended amount of time, no one can really say, that you're like, cool, okay, I've got the playing cards ready. You know, I've got my propane and my little gas stove to warm up some food. I've got plenty of water. I've got books. You know, we've got entertainment for the children. We're going to enjoy this time. Wow, we're almost like we're camping out, but we're having fun, right? So you want to bring in that self-reliance, that sacred self-reliance. So thank you so much for joining me today for March. Wishing you an amazing month. Keep your eyes out for updates on more of what we've got going on. And I hope to see you, for those of you that are really feeling called to come together, you know, the soul tribe coming together out on the earth together, having these sacred activational experiences of heart opening and the light body activation. And there's just so much that happens when we come together. They say when two or more gather out on the planet, right? So let us know also if you have any questions about any of the retreats or any of the other wonderful opportunities that we have going on. And have an amazing month, and I look forward to hearing how you are doing. If you have any questions too that you want to go deeper, please let me know in the comments, and I will see you for the next video. Sending you so much love and divine support. We got this shift, everybody. Namaste.